Confidence, or the lack of it, travels faster than sound. I learned that one day when 3 donkeys and 2 aunts turned a calm afternoon into a sprint. Donkeys will teach you patience, humility, and how to keep a straight face when your family accidentally starts a stampede. You know that feeling when you think your donkey's calm, but then they remind you they're still half wild? Yeah, that's where we're starting out today. Daphne is a wild BLM burro that my friend and I went and picked up from an auction. In this video, we're getting Daphne ready to be ridden for the first time. We'll start with introducing the saddle, adding a little bit of weight, and helping her stay relaxed while she figures out what all of this means. Just because a donkey stands still does not mean they're calm, and we don't want to mistake freezing for confidence. Donkeys do not forget when something scares them, so the goal isn't to rush it. It's to keep each step feeling safe and boring. The more boring, the better. There is so much preparation that goes into this before we ever start riding, and groundwork is one. I am asked so often about how do you keep your donkey from freezing up? It's such a common thing with donkeys, guys. When they're nervous, they're not quite sure that you are qualified to lead them, then they're going to freeze up. It's not their feet that are freezing, though. Keep in mind, pun intended, it's their mind that's froze.
So because
they're nervous, they're not trusting, and that's when they freeze. So we're going to make whatever we want. We're going to make it easy for them to say yes to it. And then be patient. Sometimes it will feel like this goes on forever and ever, but then eventually this won't even be a thing. They just need to have a lot of experiences to learn that they can trust us. And when we get like super focused, sometimes it just makes it worse. If we can borrow them our confidence, then we will get the job done.
Right now. There. Nice work.
We want to spend a fair amount of time getting them used to us being above them. We can do this on a mounting block, on a fence, as well as like taking your jacket on and off or having things above them. I used a hay bag. You'll see a picture of that in a little while. We really want them to be comfortable with us above them. So lots of practice doing this. Just because they're a donkey and people don't think that they'll run, buck, or kick, or rear. That's not true. They can do all of those things. We want to do them the honor and the courtesy of preparing them for everything that we're going to do. We don't want them to be doing it only because they're afraid. And you guys know what donkeys often do when they're afraid, right? Later on, we're going to avoid some of those freeze up moments by going slow with them, doing them the courtesy of helping them be comfortable, feeling confident that we can lead them and that our resume is good enough for them. They seem to want that, guys. So go slow, introduce everything, watch all those different signs that show us how they feel. Just because they're still doesn't mean they're comfortable. Being over the fence with them is a great way to test how well your donkey leads. So you direct them with their lead rope to come stand beside you. Daphne's not ready for it yet. She's not willing yet. But we keep working at it. And look at there. She could be mounted from the fence. Lots of practice doing all of this stuff. It's not just good for riding. It's also good to test your leading skills. Ground driving is a great way to work on forward motion before you're ever in the saddle. Now, I want to invite you to join my memberships. I have lots of different tiers in there, depending on if you're just wanting to support the herd or if you're working on your donkey and want some help. I have extra videos as one tier, and there's another tier where I'm even helping you one-on-one with your own donkey. So check that out if you're interested in extra help. I want to also say thank you so much to my current members. I appreciate you guys so much. I learn as much helping you guys as you're learning from me. This is so wonderful to be making part of like a community of donkey people, because that's what we are, right? Donkey people. So if you ever want to see more behind the scenes stuff, extra videos, coaching, any of that, check out the memberships. But speaking of behind the scenes, let me tell you a story about a day when confidence definitely wasn't traveling in the right direction, and the reason I'm so careful about confidence. The day my aunts and I learned that lesson the hard way. Now, let me back up here for a second. I learned to ride from my aunts. Like, I think my aunts are just the best. And so they come out to Montana to visit, and it's November, it's cold, guys, and we're going to ride. And my aunts are going to ride donkeys. They're going to ride my donkeys. They're wild, and I train them, and I'm so excited to kind of show off. Have you guys ever been there? So we saddle up, we go into the 2-acre pasture, and one aunt is riding famous Seamus, like he's a good old boy, right? And then my other aunt is riding Daphne. That's who we're working with here in this video. And then I'm riding Aw. Now, we're just riding around in the 2-acre pasture. My aunts are getting to know the donkeys. The donkeys are getting to know my aunts. When all of a sudden, I don't remember if it was a sneeze or she blew her nose. One of my aunts either sneezed or blew her nose, and all 3 of the donkeys took off running. And I think, but I'm not sure, I think Seamus even bucked on one of my aunts. Like, holy moly, I was mortified that this happened with my aunts. Now, guys, they didn't hold it against me. They understood. They're donkeys. They're wild. But remember how I said confidence travels faster than sound? Yeah, that turns out to be especially true when someone sneezes or blows their nose. Everyone says donkeys don't run. Well, Daphne didn't get the memo. They might have a reputation for freezing, but sometimes they decide to fly. Freezing is a fear response, but so is running. And a donkey that runs is just as scared as one that won't move. Now, guys, if you're like, oh my gosh, I don't want a donkey that will run if they're scared. If I'm completely transparent, I will take that over one who's not afraid of anything, nor are they willing to like step out, move out. Because it's nice to be able to keep up on the trail, right? And it's nice if that's a little bit natural in them and we don't have to work so hard to achieve that part. But the goal is not to stop the fear. It's to help them stay thinking when it shows up. And to help them like look towards us for guidance. If they're afraid and they look and you see you're calm, I want them to be calm because of that. This won't happen overnight. We got to work it. We got to give them enough experiences. Sometimes I hear people, I'm going to go off on a rant. Sometimes I hear people talk about, I'm not going to give my donkey any stress. I am sad to hear that. They need to have a little bit of stress so that they can get confidence and believe in us. For all of you that have kids or know somebody who does, the first time when you leave the baby with a babysitter, grandma, grandpa, and mom cries the whole time that you're gone. Or you bring them to kindergarten the first time and you cry. Maybe your kid is crying. But really, we both, the parent and the kiddos, need that stressor so that we can develop some coping skills. Because guess what? Those kids need to learn how to live on their own eventually. And then we need to be able to learn to live that they're not always going to be by our side. So we want a little bit of stress and then to learn some coping skills. We don't ever want the stress to be so much it's going to break them. We want the stress to be enough that they have the opportunity to learn from it. Now, once they get stressed, we need to be there with them when they come down. Just like our kiddos, as they come down, they need to learn that there's safety around them. All right, I'm off my tangent. So people think that donkeys always freeze when they're scared, but that's not the whole story. And Daphne, last Halloween, so almost a year ago, proved that even calm ones, they can decide to sprint when they're nervous. And with the donkey, their sprint doesn't typically last too long, so rest assured. But it's a good reminder, when they move, they move. You're on a wild animal. You're on equine. It has a mind of its own. Confidence is built over time. Confidence is going to start with what's familiar, and it's going to grow into confidence that they are good thinkers, that they can work their way through this, that they can trust their leader, us. I want to be my donkey's leader, and I need to learn to be a good leader for my donkey. We all need to say that. Over time, your donkey will trust you and itself. But we have to instill these behaviors inside of them. So that's when we're going to get back to saddling. Keep in mind, just because a donkey stands still, that doesn't mean they're calm. And just because they froze once doesn't mean they always will. So we get them nice and comfortable, accepting the saddle. When you introduce the britchin, they need to get used to that also. So ahead of time, play with their tail. Get them used to the activity back there. At first, when they're really nervous, they'll really clamp their tail down so they don't want you to move it. It's sensitive. And we've got to be able to move their tail to get that britchin around there. Or a crooper if you're using a crooper. So play with their tail lots to get them prepared for the britchin. And here we're going to be moving on to mounting and getting them used to being mounted, whether you're doing it from the ground or using a mounting block or the fence or all three, even better yet. When you first saddle them before you're mounting them, it's a good idea to get them to move around some. So do some basic circles, get them all used to that so that they don't get nervous about how the cinch feels around them. When you're doing this, when you're starting mounting the first time, you really want to go slow, keep your toe in there. When you dismount, it can be a good idea to take both feet out of the stirrup before you get down. Now, don't get up there and plan on planting yourself up there for a long time. You don't even necessarily ask them to move right away. You're just getting them used to all of this. So that just depends on how much time you have. Get them used to being up there, standing on their side like she is right now, petting them all over the place, and then doing this from both sides. That is very key for getting them used to it. You might have to mount sometime from the opposite side. And if they're really nervous, like if they're good with you on your left side, but not on their right side, then it's not time to do that. We need them to be good and comfortable with everything before we are riding. Scap. It's SCAP. Soft, centered, accurate, and punctual. I love this acronym. I use it for everything. Are they ready to start picking up their feet more? Well, I don't know. Are they scap yet? Are they ready for me to mount them from the saddle? Well, I don't know. Are they scap? If she's moving around, walking off, that means she's not scap. So we're going to work on that slow. If they were walking off, don't actually mount. Just pretend to mount. Get them scap with the step before what they're afraid of. If they're afraid of you just standing by their side, then you're not going to be putting your foot in the stirrup yet. Or you could be pretending to put your foot in the stirrup. Not even putting it in there, but getting them used to that. They need to be scap with every step of the way. And that's doing them the courtesy of helping them get comfortable and confident so that they can think things through and know that we want them to think things through. We all have to kind of learn to learn. People and animals, we have to learn to learn. So help them be scap with everything we're doing. Once you're up there, you see how she's in a halter and not in a bridle? We don't start with a bridle, guys. They don't know what it means anyways. So it's a false sense of security that if you have a bridle, that you're going to have control. That's not true. Notice that we're in a pen. With a donkey, I wouldn't be so nervous about going out of a pen, but we've had them like buck on us. Yes, a donkey can buck. So if you need to be in a small area, normally they don't run for too long. But start with the halter to get them used to a bridle, to a bit. I like to have them just pack it, just to wear it. And I'm not asking them any questions while they're wearing it. So it could just be 5 or 10 minutes to start with, just 5 or 10 minutes. And then later on, maybe for a half hour. You see how she's moving her
First time
tongue
wearing
all over the place?
Her third time wearing
She
a bit.
won't do that later on.
It is,
Right now, she's just getting
pretty
used
funny
to how
the way
that
she's
feels
playing
in
with
there.
her tongue around the
Lots
bit.
of practice with everything. Now, flexing,
Carrie,
we want to do this with the halter
Daphne.
long before we're ever
And what
riding
she
them.
does, she's going to ask
And then
her
again,
to
we're going to do it with the bridle
disengage her hind
before we're
end.
trying to use the bridle to steer them, because they're not going to know what we're asking.
But first, she's trying to
if we
get her
haven't
head to
shown them
bend to a
first.
45
We want to
degree
lead
angle.
by example. So then you should wear one too, or have your husband or your wife wear one. There you go. Okay, so we're going to lead by showing them what we want. We're not going to try to be a dictatorship. We're going to teach them, guide them, and lead them, showing them what we want them to do. Once we get the flexion, then we ask with the stirrup.
You might need to pull
for
her
them
head
to
a little bit
disengage or move
towards
the
you
hind
to
end
help her
over.
Understand.
So again, we're teaching them to
Keep
move
at
all 4
it.
feet
There, nice.
before
That
we
was
ever
great.
get up in that saddle. We want those things to know. We want our animal to know what we're asking once we get up there. When we get up there, we're giving them another variable, right? Us on their back.
So you're going to ask with
So
your
if we
your
do
calves.
them the courtesy of showing
Bump,
them
bump,
what
bump,
all
bump,
this
bump,
stuff
bump,
means
bump.
long before we ever get them
There.
on their back, it's going to help you have a really boring
And it doesn't
ride.
matter how slow she's walking.
And those really
if she's
boring
walking,
rides
you're not
are
going to
going
do
to turn
anything
into
at all.
really exciting rides down the road. And when I say that, I mean exciting, like you get to go have fun adventures, whether it's trail riding or moving cattle, or maybe you're teaching them to pull a wagon. Trail, like go to mule days, ride your donkey at mule days. How many fun things can you do? What's the favorite thing that you ever do with your donkey? Put it in the comments. I'd love to hear. Because there's some silly stuff out there. If you guys ever get a chance to go to mule days, you totally got to go. Okay, so getting them used to that. Now, right now she's kicking, and that's what we used to do to get them to go forward. Now I would recommend only using your calves. So start asking for that forward movement just by leaning forward just a little bit. And then asking with your calves, like squeezing like a tube of toothpaste, and then bouncing, and then take like a tail end of your lead rope and kind of surprise them, like wave it around. You could smack your leg. You could just drive them forward. And then as soon as you get even a leaning forward,
good.
release that pressure. Look how nicely she steps out. So awesome. So reward the slightest try. And once they start walking, don't keep asking them to walk right now at this stage. If they don't keep walking when you ask, like there, let them come to a stop and then ask for them to walk again. The reason we want to do it like that is so that we don't have to babysit them later on. Because if they start walking and we keep asking them to walk later on, that's what you're going to have to do under all circumstances. When you first start rides, like you might only be up there for 5 minutes or a half hour, but I wouldn't be up there for very long when you first start, when you're introducing this. Keep it fun. Let them have time to soak in the lesson. Remember, stay with them when they're soaking because you want them to find comfort with you. That way later on, they're going to want to follow you around. They're going to want to follow your guidance because they feel good when they're with you. It always comes down to that. Do they feel good when they're with you?
Beautiful job.
Lots of time practicing asking for flexion and moving the hind end. Be patient right now. They're going to feel a little confused. That's why, we're not starting this out on the trail. We're starting this just in a small area. When they do give to you, give back more than they gave to you. Don't just let go of the rein. Just push your hand forward. Give back. Make it a good thing. We want to make everything we ask. We want the answer to feel good to them. And then eventually, they're going to work so hard and they're going to have so much fun with the adventures that we're going to have later on. At the Ty Evans clinic here, Carrie was riding Daphne, and both of them were green and nervous. And what I was reminded of that day is with donkeys, you can kick or rush your way through fear. Absolutely not. You have to lend them a little of your confidence until they find their own. That's the real secret of training a donkey, or a person for that matter.
Okay, now look over your back,
And
over your shoulder.
honestly, after working with so many BLM donkeys, I sometimes wonder if I'm just cycling through the same gray color on repeat. But each one is different. From freeze, some fly, some make
Keep
me
going,
laugh,
keep going.
and a few make me question my life choices. What they all have in common is that they'll give you their trust
There,
when you've earned
beautiful.
it, not a moment before. If you've enjoyed spending time with me and the donkeys today, I'd love it if you'd comment and share this video. My next goal is to get to 10,000 subscribers. Right now, we're at 6,670. And I'd be so grateful for your help getting there. I put a lot of work into making these videos enjoyable, helpful, and not just boring like watching paint dry. And I'm so excited that people are watching and learning from these donkeys. There are more donkeys and more people out there who could benefit from this information. So please help get the word out. Every like, comment, and share really helps, and it means the world to me. And if you really want to go deeper, I have a membership program where you can get extra videos, behind the scenes content, and even one-on-one coaching. It's a way to support the channel and get more of the kind of training insights I share with these donkeys here every day. Memberships aren't for everyone, but if you're interested in learning more, seeing extra footage, or just helping me keep making these videos, I would absolutely love to have you join. So as we wrap up today, remember, you don't just go with them, and you don't just make them go with you. You learn to go together. And maybe, if I'm lucky, I'll finally learn which one of these gray donkeys is which.